Hello, everybody. Welcome back once more to Anime Yay or Nay. I'm TheOutbackAl.
I'm hot for justice.
I'm Chibi Noob.
And I'm NV Jitters.
And we have a new anime that we watched this week. What did we watch? We watched something about slime.
Yes, yes, we did.
That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Slime Time Live, everybody. What is this about?
This is about a 37-year-old Japanese man who dies and ends
Horrifically.
up getting reincarnated as a slime monster.
Yeah, he dies. He dies bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, he just gets stabbed out of nowhere. It's like, that's rude. How rude. But yeah, and while he's dying, I guess some sort of AI of some kind in the future is like listening to his dying thoughts, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a 37-year-old virgin. I'm practically a wizard. I'm gonna be a sage, perhaps a great sage." It's like, great sage ability unlocked. It's like, so much pain. I wish I didn't have this pain. Pain nullification unlocked. It's like, did I get stabbed? That's bad. I don't want to get stabbed in my next life. Piercing. Immunity unlocked. It's like it's a whole bunch of stuff. He's like, I didn't go out with enough people. When I live again, I'm gonna go on the prowl, and this is very important because that unlocks the predator ability, which is very important for later. This is a video game, but not a video game.
Yep.
And then he wakes up as an amorphous blob in a cave of wonders.
Yes.
Pretty
And-
much.
Yep. So, what's he do
He
then?
pretty much wanted to be invulnerable, and that's pretty much what he is.
You got a whole lot of resistances, and what is more resistant to damage than a liquid? Creature. Thing. And that's what he is. He is a slime. He can't really see, he can't really do anything, he just knows how to blob, move, and yeah. But he's slowly learning, and he has the predator ability, according to, so saith the AI, and he can absorb things and learn about them. He can learn about the things that he absorbs, and he learns that this place is full of magical plants that make healing potions. So he's like, I'm gonna eat all of them and make a bunch of healing potions because, hey, this is a video game. And then he finds some ore, and it's like, this is super magic ore. It's very valuable. He's like, I'm gonna collect all this because this is a video game. Then he meets a dragon. He's like, I'm gonna talk to the dragon because this is a video game. But that's not really how
Not
that
just
went.
a dragon, the ultimate tsundere dragon.
It's a tsundere dragon. What's his name?
Oh, shit, I forget the dragon's name. Veldora, is that his name?
Veldora,
Yeah.
the storm dragon. And he's been trapped for so long. He's been trapped for 300 years by an ancient hero, who I think we saw at the beginning of the episode. Like, the girl who was, like, absorbed by the fire.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was a summoned hero from another world, and magic, and people come to this world from another. This is like a weird purgatory afterlife kind of situation, I think, that's going on. But this is the first person who's been reincarnated, especially into a slime monster, which is, he's like, wow, that's weird. Also, I haven't talked to anyone in 300 years. Do you want to hang? And, Slime Guy's like, sure. Why does Slime Guy not have the same voice that he had as a person anymore?
There's a reason for that, but it's a spoiler.
Okay, don't tell me.
Yeah.
But yeah, then yeah, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna help you, dragon, because you're the first person I met here, and you seem pretty cool. And they're like, all right, we're gonna be friends now, and so they are, and it was so. But the dragon's imprisoned by that warrior from another world, and they don't know how to get past the unlimited imprisonment spell or whatever. He's like, well, what if I just eat you and you stay inside me until I can pop you out again? And he's like, fuck it, why not? And so they're like, we're best friends now. Give me a name. I'll give you a name. And they become named family people, and he eats the dragon.
He vores the dragon.
Yep.
Yep.
And then he eats a whole bunch of other animals that are in the cave and gains all their powers, like poison breath and spider silk and ultrasonic vibration things. And he learns how to talk and speak and sees with magic sight. And honestly, this whole predator ability, way overpowered.
You have no idea.
It's kind of like when Mega Man beats one of the robot masters and just absorbs their powers, except he does it for everybody he meets.
Yep.
So, then he gets out of the Cave of Wonders and just starts hopping on down the road as a slime monster that has the power beyond imagination. And he runs into some goblins. And the goblins are in bad times because, dire wolves are going to eat them and their god left many years ago. And he's like, okay, I'll help you out. Why not? And he's going around and just like helping. He's like, okay, here's what we're gonna fortify stuff. We're gonna have to make sure everyone's got weapons and all this sort of stuff. Where's your wounded? I'm gonna absorb them and then spit them back out healthy because he can do that with potions and things like that. And so he does that, and they get ready for the direwolves, and the direwolves are coming in, and they're like, we will rule this forest forever, and blah, blah, blah. And, he just straight up murders the direwolf alpha, and then eats him, and then tells everybody, hey, you work for me now. He's a lot nicer than I'm making it sound. He just sounds kind of like a insane conqueror person now, but he's not. And he's like, hey, everybody, let's all get along. I'm going to give all of you names, but he named too many people, which used up his magic reserves, because this is a video game. And he fell asleep for 3 days, and then when he woke up, everyone was hot. Everyone was very hot all of a sudden.
They leveled up, they evolved.
Yep, the goblins turned into half-orcs with 8-packs, and the goblin girls got titties. and the... one of the dire wolves became a dire unicorn wolf.
And he's best boy.
Yes.
I'm just going to say that right now. He's best boy of the show.
He got tornado tail going. And, yeah, they get so happy. Their tails be wagging.
His name's Ranga, and he's best boy of the show.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, we got to build things. We need shelter. We need food. We need clothing. And he's like, oh, titties, maybe we shouldn't have clothing. But you know what? Yeah, we need clothing. And they're like, well, where do we get this stuff? We don't know how to build things. We don't know how to do this. Well, what if we go talk to dwarves? He's like, there's dwarves? Okay. I'm going to be your slime leader. Take me to the dwarves and we'll do stuff. And that's where the episodes end. I think that's pretty much a summary of the first 3 episodes, right?
In a general sense, yeah.
Yeah. So, what'd you guys think? I was surprisingly okay with this.
I'm in the rare position where I'm like you with Tiger and Bunny, where I actually watched the show beforehand. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I love the show. It's great.
It seemed fun. Am I the only one who's coming in here without having seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
I haven't seen it either.
What was your guys' opinions?
I thought it was alright. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like... It was like... It's weird because I accidentally watched something I shouldn't have first, which made me kind of like, about it.
Share with the class.
Well, I watched one of the OVAs, and if we do that, I don't want to, like, spoil what it's about, but...
Okay.
I watched, like, the first OVA, which is very, like, fan-service-y, and I'm not really, like, about that.
Fan-service-y, like, naked people, or fan-service-y, like, oh, here's what you wanted to see the characters do?
Like, nude, like...
Okay.
Like, little clothing, and...
Well, there's not much clothing here, either. To be fair, the main character's a slime. He doesn't need clothes.
Yeah. So I was kind of like, what the hell is this? But then when I actually watched the first, like, episodes, I was like, okay, alright, this makes a lot more sense and it's not too bad.
So fair warning, if you're watching this show on Crunchyroll, make sure you don't watch the OVAs first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least the way, like, my TV was set up, I was watching it, like, on my TV, and they appeared at the top. And you had to, like, scroll down to get to the actual first episode.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm watching on a pirate site, so...
Ah.
They know what order things go in because they're pirates. You gotta keep to the code.
Yeah.
Speaking of pirates, One Piece is on Netflix now.
Yep.
So we're watching that next week, right? All of it.
Oh god, no.
You can't even watch all of it. It's only like the first 130 episodes.
Only 130? Way to blue
Out
ball
of like
the guy.
900.
I actually kind of enjoyed this one. I did not come into this really thinking that I was gonna, because I'm not super into the Isekai genre.
I will say this, though. I wasn't a huge fan of the first 3 episodes the first time I watched it, but after I watched episodes 4 through 6, that's when I got invested in the show, and then it peaked for me beyond that, so...
Okay. For me, it's like... First off, I think Isekai is very oversaturated right now, and I think when a genre or type of show is oversaturated, you get a lot of mediocre stuff, just because everyone is trying to get their foot in the pool. And I'm not going to say I've never seen this kind of world before, but it's at least presented in a decent enough way that I'm like, okay, I'm fine with this.
One of the things I liked about it was that it pretty much took it's like it almost feels like a parody of Isekai, like how broken protagonists tend to be.
And if that's the way it goes, I'm down for it. Because I made, whenever I was describing the plot, I was like, oh, just like a video game, just like a video game, just like a video game, and yeah, to some degree it is. At the same time, I think they're not leaning super heavy on it, like I think some other shows might. I think they're still... I don't know, this is hard to describe, because I don't watch enough Isekai to know every trope and issue that's usually brought up because of the genre. But I feel like... I don't think it leans so heavily on the Isekai elements that it becomes an issue for me. I think is the best way to describe it. It's definitely not... You definitely know those Isekai shows where it's just a fantasy thing. There was no point of making it from another world, yada yada yada. You could have just had a fantasy show. And... I don't know where I was going with that, but this works as kind of a fantasy show. It's stuff that I've seen, but it's stuff that's still enjoyable because I think there's some character here that I'm enjoying.
It's also funny because the main character is a slime, and usually in most fantasy games, the slime is one of the most weakest generic enemies, and in this show,
Are they? I seem to recall a number of people being terrified of gelatinous oozes and stuff. I don't know that slimes are as low level as you're thinking.
Well, in some games and shows, they are.
Okay. But, yeah, I think, and I don't want to get into a whole thing about this, because, let's talk about Sword Art Online a little bit. I think they had a solid premise. I think the art was good. I think the overall presentation was good. What they were severely lacking was character, especially in the protagonist. Here, I don't think that's a problem. Do I know a ton about Slimy yet? No, it's the first 3 episodes. But I feel like I get a decent enough sense of who they are right now. And are they a little bit white bread? Yes, but they are at least entertaining and kind of funny as well. Which is not something I could say about Sword Art Online and Kirito. So, so far I'm good with this. Yeah. I'm kind of interested to see because, like, it at least feels like... It also definitely doesn't feel like someone who is simply playing through a video game. Like, I feel like there's always those... I feel like that's a thing in Isekai where it's just like, you're just playing through and not affecting the world around you in a unique way. Kind of, like... Okay, you play... If you were to play, like, just a fantasy video game with, like, a single storyline kind of thing, you can play a little different here and there, but if you're just following the main plot lines in that, you're pretty much always going to have the same story. Do you know what I mean? Versus if you play D&D, there's a million and one possibilities. Because, sure, you could go down the set path, or the more obvious path, or you could make 100 other decisions that completely turn the game upside down. I feel like Sword Art Online goes the way of the video game, where it says, like, here's the plot, and we're just going to move things along, narrative point to narrative point, blah, 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 versus the slime thing definitely feels like, who knows what's going to happen. He's making decisions that are going to affect things, and it's going to get weird and crazy. And I kind of like that. And I think that's kind of what it has going for me right now.
Without spoiling anything, I'll just say this, Al, you are 100% right about that assessment.
Oh, good.
That's what the show is going to basically be, in that you don't know, it's gonna go in directions you're not going to expect.
I like that, because I think, like, there's nothing wrong with having a straightforward story of, like, good versus evil, bad guy, blah, blah, blah. But occasionally it's a little more fun to see the different ways that you can affect the world. The different domino effects, butterfly effect or whatever, that you can have by doing something a little bit different or out of the ordinary. And, you know, how does that... what's that going to change down the line? I don't know that we get that enough. And if that's, like, the deconstructive kind of thing that they're doing, because, like, I mean, from another standpoint, you could look at the show and be like, this is the rise of an evildoer. Because, like, traditionally speaking, a creature that came from a cave full of monsters and then suddenly became the leader of a clan of goblins and dire wolves and made them super strong orc-looking motherfuckers, that'd be a warlord that you have to fight in the majority of fantasy.
And don't worry,
things.
The show will definitely address that without spoiling much. They definitely talk about that.
I am very down for that. And he himself is pretty much a monster. He is a class of monster.
Well, not even so much that. He is a very powerful monster.
Yeah, and he kind of...
Like, the aura that comes off of him makes him very malevolent, even though he is a slime.
I'm wondering if part of that is the dragon that he absorbed, which slaughtered a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's like...
I'm, like, 100% convinced that it is Vildora.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's interesting to look. It's like, I feel like you could look at a lot of different... And again, D&D campaigns where people are like... the protagonists, the players and all that, they're supposed to be the heroes, but in reality sometimes, like, are we the bad guys here? I feel like you could see that scenario coming up every now and then a little bit more often. I kind of remember, have you guys ever seen Harmon Quest?
No.
It was Dan Harmon and some of his friends from, like, Rick and Morty and Community and all that, and they had, like, these... It was a podcast for a D&D campaign, but they, like, edited everything down to be, like, 20, 30 minutes a piece. Pretty digestible. It was pretty good. And they animated some of it. And there was a certain point during one of the episodes where they're like, okay, we keep following along the story where this cult is getting a manticore to come to life. And, like, it feels like at every step we are trying to stop them, but we are ending up causing them to succeed. Are we the bad guys here? Maybe we should just quit. I don't know. And I'm like, that's funny to me. That's interesting. And I feel like that, and at least from what Envy said, this seems to be where this show could start going and kind of looking at things in a different perspective. I like that.
It's both a deconstruction and a parody of the isekai genre and fantasy genre as a whole.
I love that. I like parody. I like deconstruction. I like looking at things from angles that aren't often looked at. That's fun.
And also, humor is subjective, but I also thought this show was hilarious at times, especially with some of the reactions and some of the characters you'll meet later on.
It didn't have me, like, rolling on the ground laughing, but compared to what a lot of other comedy, like, straight comedy animes do, I laughed more at this than a lot of those. Because I feel like the humor translates pretty well.
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, it's kind of cutesy humor. It's not like taking any big risks with its comedy, but yeah, I think this is pretty solid so far. I'm gonna give it a yay.
I am also a yay.
Yeah, I'm just a straightforward yay throughout the whole show. So
Yeah, it's good so far.
Okay, give it another 3 episodes. See where this goes. See where this train's heading. I'm interested to see what they decide to do with the dwarves. Whether they're just going to be straight up all Gimlis, or whether they're going to throw a wrench in the works and they're something else.
Yeah.
I actually saw something a while ago. I'm gonna try to see if I can bring it up. Where I don't know. These people were like, maybe we need to rethink about accents in D&D or something. Give me 1 second. I might be able to find it. But they were like, why are all the elves like posh British people, and why are like
why are all the dwarves some variation of Scottish?
yes.
Why are all the humans American?
Well, yeah. But then they were like, okay, here's a new list, and these are law now. Here's what you have to do. I'm like, that's interesting. You're shaking things up a little bit. Where are you? It's on here somewhere. Give me a minute.
I forgot to ask, what did you guys think of the OP and ED of the show?
Oh, I like them.
They're alright.
I'm waiting for the slime to get a human form.
Did they just turn into a generic anime girl?
I'm not going to spoil it, but it's not something you're going to see coming, or at least that's something that's not usual for the genre.
I kind of thought that like the little blue-haired one in the opening and ending were the slime.
I can't say anything. I don't want to spoil anything.
Well, no, you can literally see like the split transformation. Like, in the opening.
Yeah.
To me, it was very obvious.
Unless it's a bait and switch, in which case I think that would be hilarious.
I mean, maybe.
Okay. Alright, fantasy... Okay. Reassigning fantasy accents, please adjust accordingly. Okay, elves are no longer wispy British. They're 1920s radio announcers. Relics of a bygone age, weirdly disconnected from emotion. Okay. Dwarves are from Boston now. Please leave the poor Scots be. They really don't deserve this. On a related note, halflings are specifically bad Irish. Sorry, Ireland, if you have good Irish accent, please tone it down. You're wrong. Orcs are Texan. Everything is bigger. They have tusks. The overlaps abound.
Okay.
Tieflings vary, mostly Midwestern, though.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'm like, if you kind of maybe go along those lines a little bit, make things a little, like, everyone expects Lord of the Rings, and draw from it if you want. But, like, let's see some weirdness come along with that. Let's
I would totally play a campaign with those rules, with those voices.
Let's have the dwarves talking about Pakanaka or whatever. What was that commercial?
From the Super Bowl, like all the people in Boston, or Mark Wahlberg and all his friends, or
I don't think Mark Wahlberg was there, but yeah, what was it? They were parking a car, but it was a smart park. Just have a bunch of Gimlis just talk about a smart park.
I would just love to do the 1920s radio announcing voice.
Ah, yes, the elves. Welcome to the Elven City. That could be
like that announcer from Legend of Korra. Like, he was one of my favorite parts of that show.
He's coming into the booth now. I am peeing myself. I think it would work. We'll see. Maybe we can get a game going and someone who's good with accents will DM.
You.
I'm not volunteering.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else we gotta talk about with this? Any hopes?
Not that I
things
can really
that we're
think of.
thinking about? Okay then. Alrighty. Well, this seems like a yay. We're gonna watch episodes 4 through 6 next week. See where we go from there. Maybe this is gonna continue to enchant us with its cutesiness, its deconstructive parody. It's a good-natured show. I like it. It's not like right off the bat, oh, we have a big menace that we gotta fight. It's like, let's make friends and enjoy ourselves in this fantastic new fantasy world. That's nice. Alright, see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell icon for notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, and feel free to check out some of our other gaming videos, our weekly podcast Anime Yay or Nay, or our parody series Madoka Magically Abridged. See you next time!